Have you ever wondered why some folks in their 70s or beyond seem to bounce through life with steady energy, minimal aches, and a certain lightness to their step, while others find themselves battling constant fatigue and lingering discomfort? Many of us assume that these differences boil down to good genes or just plain luck. But what if there's a more practical explanation? One that involves reducing something called chronic internal inflammation. Now, inflammation itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. At its most basic level, it's our body's natural way of protecting us from harm. When you cut your finger or catch a bug, inflammation rushes in to help you heal. The problem starts when that reaction never fully shuts off, persisting day after day and quietly wearing down our systems. For those of us in our later years, this chronic inflammation can show up as persistent joint pains, digestive upsets, brain fog, or a general feeling of heaviness that's tough to pin down. The challenge for many people over 70 is knowing how to address this ongoing, low-grade fire inside the body. You might have heard well-meaning advice like, just avoid spicy foods, or take it easy and rest more, or even try this miracle supplement. But while these suggestions can sometimes be helpful, truly calming chronic inflammation usually requires a more holistic approach. It's about finding small but meaningful ways to move, eat, rest, and connect that gently nudge your body back into balance. Why is this so important? Because when chronic inflammation goes unchecked, it's a bit like allowing a steady trickle of water to drip inside your house. Sooner or later, it can lead to problems that are much harder to fix, from heart health issues to difficulties with mobility. On the other hand, when you take steps to reduce chronic inflammation, you often find a remarkable sense of relief. Joints move more freely, energy levels improve, and everyday tasks feel a touch easier. It can even brighten your mood and help with clearer thinking. In short, a body that's not bogged down by constant inflammatory stress has more bandwidth to handle the little surprises life throws at it. Today, I want to share a 7-step plan to help you gently ease this process along. These steps are designed with the wisdom of aging in mind, respecting our changing bodies, and building on what newer research tells us about living well past 70. Each step tackles a different aspect of senior life, from the foods we eat to how we rest and everything in between. By the end of this, you'll have a holistic toolkit that empowers you to better manage chronic internal inflammation. I've spent years working with older adults as a functional aging specialist, focusing on practical ways to help people feel more comfortable and capable at every stage. While I'm not here to play doctor, I am here to share a combination of time-tested insights and fresh perspectives, approaches that have helped many of my senior clients and their friends find newfound relief and a better quality of life. Before we dive in, I invite you to think about one small area of your daily routine where you'd love to feel just a bit lighter or more at ease. Maybe it's getting up from your favorite armchair without that nagging stiffness, or having the energy to spend a little longer doing the activities that bring you joy. Think about that one wish and hold it close, because by the time we finish, you'll have concrete, doable strategies to support it. And who knows, maybe unlock even more comfort than you initially thought possible. Let's begin by challenging a few misconceptions and exploring how, step by step, you can help your body find the balanced state it deserves. First, let's talk about daily movement. Many of us assume that slowing down with age is inevitable. If you're in your 70s or beyond, you've probably heard your fair share of advice that says, don't push yourself too hard, or avoid strenuous activities to prevent pain. There's some wisdom in being cautious, but there's also a common misconception: the idea that staying still or resting more will protect you from inflammation and pain. In reality, too much inactivity can actually exacerbate inflammation. Consider the story of Paul, who is 76 and has always enjoyed tinkering with old cars in his garage. A few years back, he began to notice persistent swelling in his knees. Concerned, he drastically cut back on his movement because he believed exercise might worsen his condition. Over time, he found that not only did his knee swelling remain, but he also started experiencing more body aches and even lower energy levels. After working with a functional fitness coach, Paul discovered that gentle, low-impact exercises actually helped reduce his knee inflammation. Slowly incorporating activities like seated leg lifts, easy chair squats, in short walks at a moderate pace strengthen the muscles around his joints, improve circulation, and help dampen the persistent inflammatory signals in his body. You don't need to run marathons to gain these benefits. Simple, consistent movement, especially that which respects your current mobility level, goes a long way in reducing chronic inflammation. Start by adding in a brief walk in the morning or some gentle stretches while holding on to a sturdy chair for balance. If you like group settings, consider a light chair yoga class or a senior-friendly Tai Chi session. It's not about forcing yourself into rigorous routines. It's about finding that sweet spot where movement feels nourishing rather than punishing. Physically, as circulation improves, your cells get better access to nutrients and oxygen, helping them heal and restore themselves more effectively. Emotionally, movement can be a mood booster, as it often triggers the release of those feel-good hormones we hear so much about. If you find yourself hesitating due to concerns about pain, remind yourself that gradual progression and consistency are key. Even a few minutes of gentle exercise can initiate a positive cycle that lowers inflammation over time. If you're comfortable, share in the comments or with a friend. What's one gentle movement you love or would like to try? Hearing others' ideas may spark your own creativity and help you ease into a sustainable routine. Next, let's address food choices. There's a popular belief that as long as we eat fewer calories, our inflammation levels will drop. While portion control can be important, simply eating less doesn't necessarily mean you're eating better. Many seniors overlook the power that nutrient-rich foods have in managing chronic inflammation. Picture 72-year-old Beatrice, who was so focused on maintaining a low-calorie diet that she mostly ate packaged light meals. She didn't realize that many of these convenience foods contained high levels of sodium and added sugars, both known to contribute to inflammation. Over time, Beatrice struggled with bloating, joint stiffness, and low energy. Her turning point came when she started replacing some of her packaged meals with homemade soups, fresh vegetables, lean proteins, and flavorful herbs like turmeric and ginger. Within a few weeks, her digestive discomfort began to ease. Within a few months, she noticed that her knees felt more limber and she had more pep in her step. One of the best strategies for reducing inflammation through nutrition is to focus on whole, colorful foods. Brightly colored fruits and vegetables contain antioxidants that help combat free radicals, those pesky molecules that can trigger inflammation. Incorporating fatty fish like salmon or sardines a few times a week can also provide omega-3 fatty acids, known for their anti-inflammatory benefits. For those who aren't big fish eaters, ground flaxseed or chia seeds can offer similar nutrients. Emphasize a balance. Whole grains like oatmeal or quinoa for slow-burning energy, lean proteins, plant-based or animal-based, to help with muscle maintenance, and healthy fats like avocados or olive oil. You may even consider experimenting with anti-inflammatory spices. Cumin, turmeric, ginger, and garlic are senior-friendly ways to add both flavor and potential health perks. If you're on specific medications, it's always wise to check with your healthcare provider or a dietitian about potential interactions. But overall, this shift doesn't have to be drastic. Substituting a sugary breakfast pastry with oatmeal and fresh berries, or adding a side salad packed with dark leafy greens at lunch, can be powerful first steps. Pay attention not only to what you eat, but also to how it makes you feel. Note if your joints feel better or if you sleep more soundly. These are subtle cues your body gives when it's happier with your food choices. By centering your meals around whole, nutrient-dense foods, you're giving your body the building blocks it needs to dial down chronic internal inflammation. Here's a friendly check-in. Have you ever tried adding a new spice or vegetable to a familiar dish just to see if it made you feel better? Sometimes small experiments can lead to big revelations. Feel free to reflect on how even one or two small dietary changes might ease your everyday inflammation. Moving on to stress management. A lot of seniors think, well, I'm retired now, so I shouldn't be stressed. But mental and emotional strain doesn't end once we leave the workforce. There are many sources of stress unique to our later years. Health worries, financial concerns, feelings of isolation, or the weight of caregiving responsibilities. The misconception is believing that stress is all in your head. In reality, stress triggers very real chemical reactions in your body that can fuel inflammation. Take the example of Marvin, who is 80 and in reasonably good physical health. However, he's been feeling chronic tension in his shoulders and neck, and frequent headaches started interfering with his sleep. At first, Marvin chalked it up to getting old. But as he began practicing guided meditation and simple deep breathing exercises a few times a day, he noticed a measurable difference. His shoulders loosened up, the headaches subsided, and he felt calmer overall. This shift happened because his stress hormones started to level out, reducing one of the signals that keeps inflammation alive. Evidence suggests that regular relaxation practices can significantly lower inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. Techniques like mindful breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or even short sessions of nature walks can have a surprising impact on how your body manages stress. You don't have to become a meditation guru. Even spending 5 minutes quietly focusing on your breath can begin to help. In practical terms, consider setting a specific, quiet moment each day. You might spend this time journaling about what you're grateful for, or just sitting silently with a cup of tea, allowing your mind to wander peacefully. If you enjoy more structured activities, look for senior-friendly yoga classes or gentle Tai Chi groups that focus on the mind-body connection. The emotional benefit here is profound. By giving yourself space to relax and reset, you create a buffer against daily worries, which in turn helps dial down the internal stress signals that stoke inflammation. Think for a moment. What's one simple relaxation ritual you might add to your day? Even if it's just a short break mid-afternoon to notice the sounds around you and breathe slowly, it can have a real impact over time. Now let's talk about quality sleep. Many of us believe that restless nights are simply a fact of aging. Oh, I'm older now, so I just can't sleep like I used to. While sleep patterns do change over time, chronic poor sleep isn't something you have to simply accept. Ongoing lack of restful sleep can be a major driver of inflammation because your body relies on deep sleep to repair cells, regulate hormones, and reset the immune system. Meet Clara, who just turned 85 and has been waking up multiple times a night for years. She assumed this was normal for her age. However, she often felt fatigued by midday and noticed her joints were more swollen in the mornings. At her granddaughter's suggestion, Clara tried creating a bedtime routine that signaled her body it was time to wind down. She dimmed the lights in her living room an hour before bedtime, turned off her TV in favor of a soothing audiobook, and sipped a warm chamomile tea. After several weeks, Clara found she was sleeping more soundly for longer stretches. And amazingly, her morning stiffness and swelling decreased. Why does better sleep help with inflammation? During the deeper stages of sleep, your body releases hormones that regulate stress responses and inflammation. When sleep is disrupted or cut short, these crucial processes are thrown off balance, contributing to a continued inflammatory response. If you struggle with sleep, start by examining your evening habits. Are you exposed to bright lights or screens close to bedtime? Is your bedroom environment comfortable, quiet, and cool? Small changes, such as adjusting room temperature, using calming scents like lavender, or implementing a consistent lights-out schedule, can make a huge difference. There are also gentle stretches and relaxation exercises designed for seniors to practice before bed. Overcoming a long-standing sleep issue can take patience, so give yourself time to experiment with different approaches. It's also wise to mention any significant sleep problems to your healthcare provider, especially if you suspect a condition like sleep apnea. That said, don't underestimate the power of simple habit shifts. Quality sleep can do wonders for both your body and your mood, working silently each night to soothe that chronic internal inflammation. It might help to reflect on your evening routine. Ask yourself, is there one change you can make tonight? Maybe dimming the lights earlier or swapping a late TV show for soft music that might help you sleep more peacefully? Let's shift gears to the role of medication and supplement management. Many of us trust that if a doctor prescribes something, it must be the sole solution to a health issue. While medication can be essential, especially for conditions like arthritis or cardiovascular concerns, there's a common misconception that more is better. Polypharmacy, taking multiple medications, can sometimes create drug interactions that increase inflammation or mimic inflammatory symptoms. Consider George, age 79, who was on several prescriptions for various age-related conditions. He'd also begun taking over-the-counter pain relievers and herbal supplements recommended by well-intentioned friends. Slowly, George started noticing unpleasant side effects, swollen fingers, frequent digestive upset, and even mood swings. A thorough review of his medications and supplements with his healthcare provider revealed that certain combinations were working against each other. Under his provider's guidance, George adjusted his regimen, and the swelling and stomach issues improved noticeably. The takeaway here isn't to throw out all your medications. Far from it. Instead, it's about coordinating with your healthcare providers to make sure your prescriptions and supplements are truly complementary. Ask about possible interactions and whether any dosages can be lowered or perhaps replaced with lifestyle changes. Also, keep in mind that some over-the-counter anti-inflammatory drugs can lead to complications like stomach irritation when used long-term, which can spark more inflammation in a different area of the body. On a practical level, maintain a list of everything you take, prescriptions, vitamins, herbal supplements, and share that list with any specialist or pharmacist you visit. This is a simple step that can prevent or catch harmful interactions early. Knowing when and how to take each medication also matters. For instance, taking certain pills with a meal can reduce gastrointestinal irritation, which if left unchecked might feed into that inflammatory cycle. From an emotional standpoint, feeling confident that your medication plan is optimized can ease anxiety and free up mental space for focusing on the things you enjoy in life. If you haven't done so lately, consider scheduling a medication review. It's a proactive approach that can offer substantial relief for chronic inflammation. Every so often, it's good to pause and assess. Do you know exactly why you're taking each medication or supplement? A quick chat with your healthcare provider might shed light on ways to simplify and improve your regimen. Next, let's delve into hydration and gut health. It's easy to overlook how something as straightforward as drinking enough water or caring for your gut can influence inflammation. Some seniors believe hydration isn't a big deal unless they feel thirsty, or they assume mild constipation is just part of aging. But dehydration and poor gut health can both amplify inflammatory processes within your body. Sarah, 77, rarely drank water because she never felt particularly thirsty. She also had a long-standing routine of eating the same few meals each week, mostly processed foods she'd grown accustomed to. Gradually, she started to experience more frequent UTIs, occasional stomach cramps, and a lingering feeling of sluggishness. When Sarah began sipping water throughout the day and diversified her meals with more fiber-rich foods like whole grains, beans, and vegetables, not only did her digestion improve, but she also reported fewer aches and more energy. Her healthcare provider pointed out that optimal hydration helps flush out toxins and supports better digestion, both of which are key to managing inflammation. Gut health is another critical factor. The beneficial bacteria in your intestines can either help combat inflammation or contribute to it, depending on the balance of your microbiome. If you've taken antibiotics or certain medications for an extended period, your gut flora might be out of balance. Incorporating probiotic-rich foods like yogurt with live cultures or fermented vegetables like low-sodium sauerkraut can help restore a healthier gut environment. Prebiotic fibers, found in foods like bananas, asparagus, and onions, feed the beneficial bacteria so they can continue doing their good work. Physically, proper hydration and balanced gut health can result in less digestive discomfort, more efficient nutrient absorption, and fewer unexpected flare-ups of joint or muscle pain. Emotionally, when your digestion is running smoothly, your mood and sense of well-being often get a welcome lift. As a simple action step, carry a small water bottle around or place a glass of water in areas you frequent, like your kitchen counter or bedside table. If you're unsure about probiotic or prebiotic options, start with a simple addition like a cup of yogurt, watch for added sugars, or a spoonful of sauerkraut a few times a week. Observe how it makes you feel. Over time, these small acts can contribute significantly to lowering chronic internal inflammation. Feel free to think of one new healthy beverage or gut-friendly food you'd like to try this week. Little changes can add up to a happier gut and a calmer body overall. Finally, let's consider social connection and emotional support. There's a pervasive myth that being older automatically means more loneliness, or that you shouldn't burden others with your worries. Yet emerging evidence shows a strong link between feelings of isolation and heightened inflammation. Humans are social creatures, and our bodies respond negatively to chronic loneliness. Imagine Ruth, 83, who spent most of her days alone after her husband passed away. She noticed that her joints ached more than ever, and she often felt too tired to even leave the house. She reluctantly joined a local senior center's knitting circle, skeptical that it would help. To her surprise, the weekly gatherings did wonders for her spirits. Sharing stories, laughter, and homemade snacks not only brightened her mood but also seemed to ease her joint aches. She started looking forward to outings again. Ruth's experience highlights that emotional support and genuine human connection release a cascade of positive chemicals in the body, helping regulate inflammatory responses. Creating a supportive social circle might look different for everyone. Some prefer group classes at a community center, while others enjoy one-on-one phone calls with old friends or a neighborly chat over a cup of coffee. Volunteering is another great way to stay connected, using your time and talents to help others. Even online communities can provide real camaraderie, especially if mobility or transportation is a concern. On the physical side, meaningful social interactions can reduce stress hormone levels, which in turn can lessen inflammation. Emotionally, having a sense of belonging and purpose lifts your spirits and can motivate you to stick with other healthful habits. It's a virtuous cycle. The more supported and engaged you feel, the more likely you are to move, eat well, and get better sleep, all vital elements of our inflammation-lowering plan. If you've been feeling disconnected, consider making just one small outreach this week. Maybe a phone call to a friend you haven't spoken with in a while, or signing up for a group activity that piques your interest. Remember, it's never too late to form new connections or rediscover old ones. We've now explored a 7-step plan that addresses many facets of senior life, all with the goal of reducing that relentless, low-level inflammation that can interfere with feeling your best. Through gentle movement, better food choices, stress management, quality sleep, careful medication and supplement management, improved hydration and gut health, and meaningful social connections, you've gained a suite of strategies that work synergistically to calm your body's overactive inflammatory response. It might feel like a lot to take in, but remember, you don't have to implement everything overnight. Start small. Maybe for you, the biggest eye-opener was how daily movement can ease inflammation, or perhaps you've realized that a quick medication review could make a huge difference. Pick one area that resonates most and take a modest first step this week. Tiny shifts can create a chain reaction of positive changes, especially when you stick with them and build on your successes. There is a special kind of urgency in paying attention to chronic inflammation. Not because it's time to panic, far from it, but because every day you wait is another day, this hidden imbalance can chip away at your comfort. By acting sooner rather than later, you set the stage for better mobility, more energy, and a brighter outlook. Imagine waking up with joints that don't scream at you, a mind that feels clear, and a heart that's ready to embrace the joys of each day. It's entirely possible, and it starts with intentional, incremental change. If you're feeling inspired, consider writing down 1 or 2 goals right now. Something tangible like, I will add a 10-minute gentle walk to my afternoon routine. Or, I'll make a point to call a friend every weekend. For those who love learning more, you might decide to explore a local senior center's classes or workshops on nutrition, stress management, or fitness. You could also share this video with friends or family members who might join you on this journey. The mutual support can make the process that much more enjoyable and sustainable. Of course, always remember that each person's health profile is unique. Stay in communication with your healthcare providers, ask them questions, and lean on their guidance whenever you need to customize these steps to your individual situation. By combining professional advice with the proactive strategies you've learned here, you can create a comprehensive plan tailored just for you. Your later years are a chance to appreciate the life you've lived and to continue growing in wisdom and well-being. Reducing chronic inflammation is one significant way to reclaim comfort, rediscover joy in daily activities, and maintain the independence that so many of us treasure. You already have the power to shape this next chapter. It's never too late to make new choices that nurture a healthier, more comfortable body. Thank you for spending this time with me. May these 7 steps bring you a sense of relief, renewed vitality, and the joyful freedom to engage in all the activities and relationships you hold dear.